What's up guys, Houndish here, and on this busy day of exciting reveals for Beyond Light, we are back with one of the final weekly resets of the Destiny year. So in this video today we'll mention the reveals, but in game of course, we'll see if any of the end of season secrets perhaps await. But it's also the final week of Festival of the Lost, so we'll talk about what's worth knowing there, and then we'll round up the rest of the reset content this week, vendors, activities, rewards, and all of that good stuff. So as always, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you do, a rating below really does help us out. But otherwise, let's get into it. So of course, as we get into things today, earlier on we did have a very exciting Vidoc for the future of Destiny 2 Beyond Light, and we got some really juicy stuff like the return of Prince Aldrin as the Crow, a bunch of new gameplay on Europa, some story stuff, the seasonal roadmap, and all that good stuff. So if you want to check out some of the more in-depth details we've had for the immediate launch of Beyond Light, I will link the video from earlier on down below. We should point out though that it is the final week of Festival of the Lost for 2020, so if you want to pick up any of the rewards, farm god rolls on the weapons, complete triumphs and all that kind of stuff, including collecting the Ascendant lens, bear in mind that on next week's reset on Tuesday, all of this content will go away for another year. But another component of the Festival of the Lost, of course, is the Eververse Store. So as always, we've got stuff featured for silver up front on the main page, but we do have the Bright Dust section on the front page. So we've got the Skelgol shader right there, which is a pretty nice looking one you may want to pick up for Bright Dust. We also have the Fanged projection, as well as the Stonecraft's Amalgam shell, one from a previous event, but a very cool exotic ghost shell right there. And then we also have the spell of Abolition. So that does it for the front page, but then of course we got the main Bright Dust section. So this week, the Ghastly Durance emote is featured for Bright Dust. You can grab that right there for 3,250 Bright Dust, kind of expensive. We've also got the Summoning Ritual emote that we can see on the screen here, as well as the Spider Mask that you can pick up for 1,200 Bright Dust. What we got here, the Jensum Relic Shell, another older festival item, but appearing for Bright Dust this time around. And then we've got the Necrobeast Sparrow right there, with the skull right on the front. So some pretty cool stuff featured this week. We've also got the 328 ship and the Hiver Lantern projection, as well as the Shattered Shrieker transmat effect, the Arachnophile, and Soul Snot. I didn't say snot, I said not, or did I? I don't know. But you can grab that. And then we've also got Chrome Stock, Basil Toxic, Shadow Strike, and Dark Fluorescence for the shaders in the store this week. There is also, of course, the weekly quest to unlock the Interference mission. We're not sure if anything else is going to happen inside of that mission, inside of Season 11 itself, but I should point out that Bungie have said due to the extension of Season of Arrivals, the Nokris encounter for the Interference weekly quest is going to remain for the remainder of the season, and this means players who have missed previous Interference encounters won't be able to access the encounters and claim the Interference loop triumph. So obviously pretty unfortunate there's kind of a lockout on that right now, but nonetheless you can check out that encounter if it is something you perhaps missed earlier on in the season. Otherwise though, of course, it's worth mentioning that with the start of Year 4 on November 10th, Bungie have pointed out that certain seals and associated titles will no longer be available, and players need to be sure to unlock and equip the following titles before this date to guarantee that completions are recorded on their accounts. So that will include Shadow, Reckoner, Blacksmith, Wayfarer, Chronicler, and Forerunner. And they point out that even if you gain access to the title, you need to make sure that you actually unlock and equip it at least once, so that it's fully claimed moving forward. However, back to the weekly content stuff, the Contact event this week is on IO. And then for our pinnacles, as always, we do have the stuff featured in the primary playlists, but on the moon, we've got a bunch of the other stuff. So we've got the Pit of Heresy dungeon, as well as the Garden of Salvation raid this week, with 0 to 100 being the featured challenge. And then we've also got the Nightmare Hunts, so we've got Despair, as well as Insanity and Anguish featured this week. The featured Nightfall Ordeal this week is going to be the Lake of Shadows, so a pretty quick one to get done. But then for the secondary Nightfalls, or the traditional ones, we've got Exodus Crash, where you can get the Impact Velocity Sparrow, but also the Arms Dealer, where you can pick up the Tilt Fuse Sparrow, and finally the Scarlet Keep. Clash and Showdown are going to be the featured Crucible modes, and apparently we've got Triple Valor all week long according to Bungie inside of the Crucible. Then of course Trials will return at the daily reset on Friday. But if it's Year 1 Leviathan Prestige raid layers that you're after, this week we have modifiers of Prism, as well as Arms Master requiring a Kinetic SMG and anything in the energy slot, as well as a grenade launcher in the power slot. And then in the Menagerie, this week we have modifiers of Arcsinge, Blackout, and Grenadier on normal mode, and then Heroic will say Extinguish, Grenadier, Famine, and Solar Singe, with Aranak being the featured boss. For the Reckoning drops this week though, the swords bosses are going to be featured, so the weapons will be Lonesome, Nightwatch, Soul Survivor, and Last Man Standing, and Just In Case. Then over on Mars in the Escalation Protocol, despite the impending doom, Bokalita, the Hunger of Zol, is still stomping around as the featured boss, and that gives you a chance at all 3 of the Escalation Protocol weapons when you take them down, as well as 2.0 armor. And then we've got the Dreaming City, where this week's Ascendant Challenge will be the Agonarch Abyss, and that one's accessed via the Bay of Drowned Wishes, just off the spawn in Duvalian Mist. So if you want to run any of that content, the gameplay and location will play at the end of the video. But otherwise, for today guys, that's everything we have to round up in the weekly reset. I'll be keeping you posted though, as always, with the news and extra details about Beyond Light in the next couple of weeks before it finally drops. So stay tuned here on the channel. We're gonna have a lot of content to talk about soon. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in. Let us know if you're finishing up any stuff inside of D2 before that content drop next month. And otherwise, I hope you have an awesome week.
The current. You're so deep into the web.
Guardian, down. Guardian down.